This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shasheena Rolle. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news: after exhausting all measures with the government, the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce has decided to let the courts decide whether new taxes under the 2013 Customs Management Act are indeed lawful. Charisma Robinson reports.
The Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce, representing hundreds of licensees, is taking its role seriously.
The Chamber of Commerce has been having negotiations with licensees, with the Port Authority, with the government, to try and persuade the government to back off
and withdraw new taxes under the Customs Management Act that came into effect last year. However, that hasn't happened, and the Chamber has since instructed its lawyer, Fred Smith, to defend the Hawksbill Creek Agreement.
Freeport is a free, F-R-E-E, next, P-O-R-T, port, free port. That means no taxes. It's very simple.
Smith and attorney Kerry Leonard, who has also been working closely with the chamber, are convinced that if the government uphold the agreement, this island would see a real economic boom, which they say will be a win-win situation for both sides.
It isn't as if everybody's getting a free ride. The idea of the tax-free exemptions is to encourage investment into the country.
Do everything to make it boom, and overnight the government revenue will increase, as it did in years past. But if you continue to squeeze and squeeze and squeeze, what you're doing is achieving the exact opposite of what you want.
The attorneys say the legislation is hurting Bahamians more than it's hurting foreigners.
Approximately 80 to 90% of all the licensees of the Grand Bahama Port Authority are Bahamian citizens.
I encourage all licensees who have been paying these new illegal taxes to make careful copies of their records, to maintain them, because at the end of the day, this class action will require the government to repay to every licensee every red cent that the government has illegally exacted through these new customs laws.
The action is currently being drafted and will be filed within a few weeks. Meantime, Minister of State for Finance Michael Halkitis has declined to comment on the matter pending notice of legal action. Charisma Robinson, ZNS Network News.
Switching gears now, law enforcement officers seizing over $2 million in suspected cocaine at the Freeport container port today. Reports are that the drugs was discovered around 8 o'clock this morning when officers from DEU along with Bahamas and U.S. Customs conducted a search of a 20-foot container at the transshipment terminal. Police say a total of 209 pounds of suspected cocaine was packed in 3 separate bags and hidden among bags of coffee. Now, no arrest was made. However, police investigations are continuing. And a U.S.-based Christian tour company celebrating its 40th sailing of the sea right here on Grand Bahama. For the past few years, Templeton Cruise Company chartered the Carnival cruise ship and visited the Bahamas. The group made a stop in Port Lacaya where several gospel bands performed in the Count Basie Square. Jeff Templeton says 1,200 passengers traveled with the ship and about 100 disembarked the ship to take part in the mini concert.
Today we were invited by Pastor Eddie Victor to bring some of the groups who are performing on our cruise to Port Lacaya to participate in a gospel concert here at the square. So we're excited to be here. Some of our passengers are here to celebrate and enjoy in the fellowship.
Now, one of the groups performing at today's event was the Fifers.
We're going to perform a little bit in your center stage here in your square of your town, and we're real excited about that, to be able to do that. We're performing on the cruise line, and we've done almost 30 of those cruises in our history and our career. And so it's just exciting to be able to sing to people and meet new people like you.
Now, the Templeton cruise will depart Freeport at 7 this evening. And as Grand Bahama's multi-million-dollar redevelopment Reef Resort prepares to make its grand debut, there is another resort property on Grand Bahama that has become a destination of choice. Joan Davis-Roll has this story.
It's priceless.
We found a little slice of heaven.
It's priceless because from time to time, as the service industry comes under fire, there's a priceless endorsement money could not buy, a high rating coming from someone who continues to call a small resort Old Bahama Bay, nestled in West Grand Bahama, a home away from home.
I've been coming to the Bahamas for probably almost, we won't divulge my age, but almost 40 years, primarily Nassau and Paradise Island. And we ended up coming by boat for the first time, and we ended up in Kaya, which is lovely, but we were there for 2 nights and came over here and spent 1 night. And I must confess, Sydney and Quincy fell in love with it also, our Bedlington Terriers. And we were departing, and Bob said, "Why are we leaving? That's a piece of heaven." And returned, and we were here for probably almost a month. And then we've been returning ever since.
For American visitor Patty Biss and her companions, their love affair and countless vacations on Grand Bahama go far beyond sun, sand, and sea.
Total relaxation if you want to just shut the world off and get away. The feeling that you're family. I find that all of the Bahamian Islands are wonderful, but there's something here that is a little extra special. And I would say that the people make it that way. And each and every person here goes that extra step to make it special. You don't find that. You can go to 5-star hotels all over the world, but this is a special touch that's from the heart. It's a Bahamian heart.
Joan Davis Rolle, Saturday Network News.
Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight continues right after this.